Yes guys, what's going on? Hashtag Shuri here. Welcome back to another video on the channel, and here today, chaps, we are back with the top 5 most meta and overpowered players in each position. Massive apologies, boys, for the delay on these two videos. I've had a few things come up recently, so I do apologise. And also in this video, if you think I look like a zombie, which I wouldn't blame you, hate Fever season has well and truly begun, ladies and gents. So I've been rubbing my face, it's fair to say, a little bit, and I've also got a bit of a cold. So I do apologise for that, chaps. But here today, ladies and gents, we're going to be looking at the top 5 most meta and overpowered midfielders in FIFA 22 at this current moment. Of course, if you guys missed the defenders episode, make sure to go and check it out. And then, of course, we'll be doing an attackers episode as well that will come out very, very soon as well, chaps. So if you guys do enjoy the video, drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. Very much appreciate that, chaps. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Obviously, the few things to remember in these videos, guys, no icons used at all in these. We're not going to put any icons in just because they would literally fill almost every position if we did. And that's all about all we need to go through, really. We're just looking for players that are bloody good at FIFA, which is obviously, yeah, quite obvious.
Oh, really?
But yeah, boys, without further ado, we're jumping straight into it here, and we're starting with a centre defensive midfielder named Lema. Obviously, we're starting with CDMs. CDMs, boys, obviously, what we're looking for mainly, I'm not really looking for shooting too much in a CDM, let's be completely honest. And in this video, we're going to be looking at CDMs, then CMs, then cams, and obviously the attackers will be left wingers, strikers, and right wingers, just to make that all clear to you, chaps. But obviously, I like to add the odd cheap player in there, and this Lema fits that bill absolutely perfectly, chaps. I mean, a really underrated card. Now, I know he's a bit outdated because of FUT Birthday, but if you look at these stats still, if you guys have a cheap squad, he's a man who could really slot in. And obviously, you've got a lot of good Bundesliga players that you can sort of, you know, work him around, etc. Obviously, he's not got the greatest of nations, but let's be honest, you can't have everything in life, chaps. Really great stamina as well, and then just a really nice, well-rounded card. Obviously, someone you want sitting back a little bit more, but nice that he's got the 5-star skill moves as well, fellas. I'm really not going to complain about that, and medium-high work rate is absolutely great. Next up, we've got Alan FUT Birthday, boys. Now, I'll be honest, a couple of these CDMs are quite expensive, but they're all just, like, really, really decent cards. Now, this Alan, of course, 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills. Amazing league, amazing nation. Obviously, you guys know when I've done these series quite a few times, that's something that just contributes massively to the rating, meta rating of the card, in my opinion. And Alan, a really nice card. Used in a couple of pro teams, nothing crazy, but used in a couple. There's just so many good CMs, CDMs in the game now, and cams that can just do everything in centre midfield at this point. It's just really competitive. But obviously, we've got TOTS around the corner, boys, so we're going to be seeing plenty more cards, Hullet Gang type thing like this. But obviously, Alan, a really, really nice card, boys, and plays very well in game as well. That's just a really great, well-rounded card. I'm speaking too much about him. Next up, boys, we've got Sergio Biscuits. It's not a very funny joke, was it? Let's be completely honest. From the new FUT Captains promo. Now, boys, one thing that really stood out to me with this card, and I just think he's amazing, is obviously he's a CDM. You don't want to be going forward with Busquets. You know, we've got 3-star skill moves there. It's not the greatest. 79 shooting, and then of course 84 pace. It's not slow, it's not bloody fast. You know what I mean? It's just kind of in the middle. It's acceptable to use. But the passing, chaps, 87 agility as well on someone who's, I believe he's, yeah, 6'2", Sergio Busquets. He's one of them guys though. He's 6'2", but he looks like an absolute giant in game. He's one of them players. But if you look at the defensive stats, chaps, I mean, he's just going to be an absolute brick wall for you. In FUT Champs, in Division Rivals, he's just an absolute joke. 95 defensive awareness, along with his stamina, and of course, a decent league as well. You've got loads of good players you can link him with. Then we've got Jordan Henderson, boys. Now, Hendo really could have made it into the CM category. Like, obviously, I know his base card is a CDM, but he could make it into the CM category just because he can do absolutely everything, Hendo. I think Hendo is just a consistent card, boys. I don't think he's anything outstanding, but he's just really consistent. Like, and yeah, you can't really complain with 87 pace, 87 defending, and then the rest 90s other than the shooting at 83, which is not bad. But that's why I made him a CDM, boys, just because 83 shooting, like, it's decent. It's not exactly amazing. Of course, 4-star, 4-star as well. And he's not too expensive, Henderson, boys, so he can fit into squads and obviously link very, very well in the Premier League. Thanks for that, Alpal. Appreciate it. And finally, at CDM, boys, we've got the man who we put in the last one of these, Team of the Year, N'Golo Kante. I mean, 5'6", medium high. We don't care about Kante's height, boys. He may as well be 7'18", which is physically impossible. The way that Kante intercepts in FIFA, I think you guys can obviously say the same thing. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you're so far away from... Nice try, Al. Nice try at words. You're so far away from him in the past. You're like, yeah, this is a safe ball to play. All of a sudden, no, it's not. It's not a safe ball to play. Absolutely not. Looking at his in-game stats, boys. 99 interceptions, 99 standing tackle, 99 defensive awareness. I know this is a stupidly expensive card, chaps, but we've got to get, obviously, the best meta players in the videos that we possibly can. And Kante is a man who still is the best CDM in the game, in my opinion, just simply for the fact that he wins the ball so well. Now, the only disappointing thing about Kante is the 3-star, 3-star. And the fact that he can't really pass that well. Now, obviously, 98 short passing and 95 long passing, you think, absolutely. But one, you've got a 3-star weak foot, so that's massively downgraded on the left foot. And also, he just doesn't do it very well on his right foot even with them passing stats. So that's the only disappointing thing about Kante. Other than that, the best CDM in the game. And that finishes off the CDM there, chaps. Now, I know a lot of them are quite expensive, but that's why for you cheap boys, Lamer's the man that I would try and get in. Let's move on to the centre midfielders. Right, boys, and into the CMs we go. Next up, we are starting off with the man, Lucas Paqueta, FUT Birthday card. An amazing card, boys. A man that I used in my pro team for a little bit, but then I got Bobby Firmino in instead. However, an amazing card, this Lucas Paqueta, for absolutely sure, guys. Just fits so well in game, plays an absolutely amazing, it has amazing links. Jesus Christ, do you want to say amazing one more time? And of course, 5-star, 5-star. How important do we talk about that being in FIFA, guys? Having 5-star, 5-star on a player just makes him so unpredictable. You can do so much with Paqueta. You could play him at CDM, you could play him at CM, you could play him at Cam. He really is an absolute well-rounder. Then next up, boys, we've got this Clint Dempsey. Now, I know a few of you might be looking at this and thinking, are you all right, Al? But a really, really fantastic card for centre midfield. Like, if you imagine plonking this man in at centre mid. Now, I know one issue with Clint Dempsey, of course, is his links. Like, he is not the easiest player to link. But I'm sure a lot of you guys have done an icon pack throughout the year and hopefully got an icon who's usable and you're using in your team. Obviously, if you link Clint Dempsey to an icon and just get an orange link, even if you had 2 red links next to them, you can still get Dempsey on 8 chemistry, which, as I say to you guys a lot of the time, as long as you've got a player on 7 chemistry or above, it's absolutely more than enough, chaps, and he'll play basically exactly the same in game. But obviously, the 89 pace, 91 shooting, 89 passing, 92 dribbling, I couldn't really turn it down, chaps, along with 92 stamina and 90 strength, is a fantastic card. And he's really not too expensive as well. I really like this FUT Hero Captains promo, and they've really juiced up the cards before team of the season, which is what we love to see. Next up, we got Pedri, chaps. Now, this is a man who's so expensive, right? And it's kind of why, like, he's third on my list in these. He's just so good, though. Like, 90 pace in centre midfield, along with 95 dribbling and 93 passing. Like, look at that agility and that balance, boys. He's just an absolute dancer on the ball. I've obviously used him in a team with Stokes in 2v2. And he's got 97 stamina. Even that standing tackle, chaps. The 85 defending is brought down by the heading accuracy and the slide tackle, which doesn't really matter too much. But the fact you've got 93 standing tackle, 83 defensive awareness is absolutely acceptable. And then 87 interceptions as well. An absolute joy of a card. It's just one of them that's like, have we actually got the coins for it, chaps? Do you know what I mean? Then we've got Gravenberch next up, boys. Now, these next 2 CMs are basically the exact same card. Gravenberch is just slightly worse, I would say. 6'3", 91 pace, 92 dribbling. An amazing, amazing card. Again, not crazily expensive as well. I think he's about 500k-ish, something like that. I would really advise, chaps, if you can afford it, getting one of these 2 centre midfielders. Finishing off, we've got Jude Bellingham. They're very, very similar players, chaps. Bellingham is the best CM in the game right now, I believe, other than excluding icons. Of course, Ruud Gullit is the best one. Let's be completely honest. It'd be so nice if one of these had a 5-star somewhere, like a skill moves or a weak foot, but they still do the job absolutely fantastically well. And Jude Bellingham's 5 years younger than me, so that's not depressing at all. He's just wins so much stuff, and he can do absolutely everything for you. His shooting feels above 85, his pace feels above 88, a well-rounded CM, and that finishes off the CMs there, chaps. Now, a man who I put just on like the odd little like shortlist thing is Pellegrini, this cam card. A really well-rounded card, and he's about 40k coins, 30k coins, chaps, and you can't really turn that down. He's literally fodder. So for you boys who have like 100k, 200k, 300k team, that type of thing, and you want a well-rounded CM, get this man in the squad. Absolutely. Let's move on to the cams, fellas. Right, chaps, and finally into the cams to finish off the midfielders episode, chaps. We're starting off with an absolute belter of a man in Roberto Firmino. Now, honestly, I could have put this man in basically any category in this entire video. I'll be completely honest with you. Obviously, CDM, you probably don't want Firmino at CDM. You're probably happy to have him a little bit higher and use that 5-star, 5-star as much as possible. Now, this is a card you guys can use up front 100%. I just think the shooting pulls that back a little bit, and just the fact he's got such a well-rounded card, like 76 defending, is actually quite decent as well. I used him at CM in my pro team in the recent tournament, boys, and he's just absolutely fantastic. Such a well-rounded card. Amazing, amazing stats. Of course, quite expensive, but that's what you're going to get with a lot of these cards at this stage of the game, chaps. But I hope a lot of you boys have got a decent amount of coins as well. Next up, we've got the FUT Hero Captains Abedi Pele. I think I pronounced that right. Just a fantastic card, chaps. An amazing, amazing upgrade that they gave him. And like I said, once again, they really made this FUT Captains promo really decent with the FUT Hero cards. 5'9", left-footed, 4-star, 4-star, and I'm sure he feels absolutely sensational in game, chaps, along with 91 stamina. Of course, not the easiest player to link in terms of nation. However, he is in Ligue 1, so obviously you link him with all the Neymars, Mbappes, etc. And you boys will be absolutely flying. Then we've got ourselves Nani next up. A card that we used on the RTG. I'm sure some of you boys would see a decent amount. A really amazing card. I mean, the 5-star, 5-star. I'm going to start saying a lot of the same stuff. As FIFA goes on, chaps, I do realize that I just end up saying the same thing in these videos. Now, one strange thing about Nani is the fact he's got the 97 acceleration but the 81 sprint speed. But we can move past that, chaps, because honestly, I've used him myself for plenty of games, and I can tell you, he's absolutely lethal. Bloody lethal. And he's not too expensive either, which is great. His league and nation as well, really quite acceptable. Like Portugal, there's loads of good Portuguese cards in the game now. And of course, being in the Serie A, you're having an absolute field day in terms of cards. Then, boys, we've got Coutinho, this fantasy foot card. Now, obviously, I think I just said fantasy foot cow. It's definitely not a cow. A really nice card, yet to get an upgrade, of course, from this Fantasy Foot promo, which really would have been nice on Felipe Coutinho because he's got such a nice card. Just one of them guys who always works in FIFA, do you know what I mean? The way he plays in-game, etc. And of course, I know he's quite expensive, chaps. And finally, to finish us off, we've got Team of the Year, KDB. How can I not put him at first place? I mean, he's just the well-rounded GOAT. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. High work rates, the 5-star weak foot. Again, one of them players who could basically fit into any category in this video. You guys don't really need me to explain about De Bruyne too much. And then the man who made it on like the short list for me in this scenario is the Fantasy Foot upgrade, Eriksen. This is such a cheap card, chaps. Even if you just bring him off the bench as a cam, super sub, that type of thing. The only thing that lets him down a little bit is the 82 agility. You kind of expect Eriksen to have a little bit better at that. But other than that, chaps, you're having your absolute field day. And there's some really nice cams at this point. I feel like we've been struggling for cams all throughout the year in these types of videos. But we've got some absolute bob-on cams now, chaps. But that'll finish off the Midfielders episode, chaps. If you guys do enjoy the video, drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy it. Sorry, should I say. My words are absolutely mumble-jumbled. Hope you boys have a fantastic day. We'll have the Attackers episode coming out very soon as well. I'm going to go do 3 local backflips. Catch you guys later.